What's up, everyone? This is our first live YouTube video. I'm about to do a bow build live, and I'm assuming and hoping it stays to the page so that everybody that wasn't live can see this. We're gonna do a Matthews image. We're about to put some strings on it and go from there. So this is our bow. We're gonna grab some strings, throw them down on that bad boy, and go from there. We're gonna build a Matthews image. Sorry, I don't know how. This is my first time on YouTube Live. So I'm just gonna build up this image for Lakin. We're doing kind of a hybrid. She'll do some 3D, but not indoor target. So we're gonna start building that up here in a second. I think the main thing I'm trying to do right now is get the tripod set up so we can throw some strings on here. Just a frame. We're gonna take this off. We're gonna run an HDX or actually an integrate. So let's go grab that integrate. I'll clean off the lens so y'all can maybe see. I'm hoping this saves onto the page so that if y'all don't get to see this whole thing right now, maybe it'll save to the page so you can see it a little bit later. So this is my favorite rest on the integrated stuff on the Matthews, mainly because I like how everything works together. I also like the Hamsky Epsilon. I think it's a great arrow rest as well. So what we're gonna do right now is, again, this is for a friend of mine, and we're not gonna actually change our yokes out. We're just switching to zebras. So we're gonna, sorry everybody. Let's see if we can get this propped up. I don't know what happened to my tripod, so we're gonna take these strings. And if you want to know what happened to that bow on the ground, right there's my dog. Well, that bow got blown up, had cracked limbs, but we can't get a warranty on the limbs. So we're just waiting for the customer to save up the money to buy the new limbs. Target, this is I'd say mainly a bow hunting setup. She'll shoot some 3D. So I wanted to show y'all something. If you run zebra strings, you can actually order them with served in loops, and I've got a video down below that talks about that. But with these served in loops, you're bringing, you're stopping some peep rotation that comes on these zebra strings. The stock strings are not served. There's nothing wrong with the stock strings. I have no issues with them. But when you run these up, so hopefully y'all will be able to see this as we, let's do this. Flip it around. So we'll take that off. All right, yeah, that should work. Let's go ahead and pull this around this way. We're just getting this phone set up, guys, so y'all can actually see the build. There we go. All right, I'll move this a little bit over. So again, we're gonna put the new strings on it. We ordered zebras with served in loops, which is a big deal, okay? So that'll help your strings. We got a whole nother string article down below. We're running with purple and silver on this setup. Always take your spare strings and put them your old strings. Some archery insurances won't allow the bow shop to give you back your old strings just because of liability. But if you can, get your old strings if they're not going to break. Paper clip them all together and keep them in your bow case so that if you're on a hunt and you break a string and you have to rig up some type of bow press, the main thing that hurts people is if they don't have a string to put on. I've been on several hunts where people broke stuff and we could have put them on, but they didn't have a string. So There you go. So save those. Running purple and silver on this one. I think Lakin's going to be pretty amped up. Run this on here. For all you guys that do this at home or learning, you will make some mistakes. It's just part of it. I've been doing this for 18 years and I still, every once in a while, need to look at back where we had a particular string on some of the more complex bows. Some of the older bows, really like a PSC Stinger. There's some versions of PSC Stingers where they run the strings to the cam and it runs weird. And so you have to, like, I'll take a picture. So if you're new to that, take a picture. We're gonna throw some cables on now. Always keep a trash can by your bow press too, because you chunk a lot of stuff. Got that one. Take this old one, put it on over here. Like that. If you're setting up a Matthews, one thing I always do is I pull up my string, let the tension out, and see how bad our timing goes. Just make sure your yokes stay on your rollers there, because they like to slip out. Alrighty. Just kind of look, so we know that we're off a little bit on our cables already. Now we're going to take out the second cable. So take your cables, set them up on that paper clip. You take your yokes off, do the same thing. So now you've got a backup set that is inside the, yes, it's a Matthews image. Sorry, I didn't see if there was a question there. I can't see this while y'all are, sorry. Yeah, it's a hunting rig. It's a image. And thanks guys for helping answer. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, we're just setting this up for a friend. We're not changing our yokes out. We're just doing her cables and her string. Getting her a good setup. Again, the yokes and everything are brand new on the bow. We're just giving the bow some color to pop. And so after we get the cables on this Matthews, before I even go to a D-loop, I try to use their timing holes so we know where it's at. Just before I even get it off of there, and then I'll start making some adjustments. Yokes are in, cables are in. Always check that on your bows in a bow press. A million of us have probably pressed a bow and seen it. Oh, sorry, that arrow rest came off of there. We'll just put it there. Gonna add a twist to the bottom, get pretty much in the middle on these, and then we'll do a real timing on the draw board. On Matthews, the timing holes are pretty dang accurate, but if you put it in actual draw board, sorry guys, my dog's down here and get my feet. She's kind of needy. Hey girl, you're a good dog. So I just kind of checked and made sure that we've got the timing holes on. You can see that right there, top and bottom. That does not mean your bow is in time on a Matthews, just to be clear. You still want to go ahead and put it on a draw board, but you got to have your D-loop on and everything else. So I'm going to grab my bow vise and bring it over here in front of the camera, and I'll start putting accessories on the bow, and then we're going to set up an arrow for this bow that is not crazy heavy, but it's going to be a whitetail setup. So I don't expect her to go shoot elk with it. If she goes shoots elk, we're going to change her arrows up, but that's what we're doing right now. Back up, boy. You okay, girl? You okay? Don't be scared. You're a good dog. Good girl. My dog gets scared of loud noises, so. All right, so we've got the bow going there. It's got that whisker biscuit. We're gonna pop that off. We're gonna add on an integrate from Matthews. Picking up. We're just gonna pop these off of here. We're getting spam calls while we're doing this. It's kind of funny. Just getting everything out of the package. These integrates have some really weird felt on them. All the QAD stuff, none of it really fits really well. Don't use your teeth to open stuff. So on that, I like to put the felt on, make sure it sticks real well. The one trick is grabbing this small Allen wrench out of here. And if your bow shop uses these footballs, you need to find a new bow shop. Like as soon as you see that, you should be like, oh man, that's an issue. So all we're doing right now is we're putting on the integrate. But we're gonna put the felt on the integrate before we do any of that. The next live bow build we're gonna build up my wife's bow, which is an RX-7. We're gonna build that up for our next live bow build. If you have any questions, just shoot us a DM or hop over on Instagram and talk to us, ask us questions. Happy to help in any way we can. do have a full-time bow shop. We have 2 locations, so if you need anything, just holler. Any questions, we're happy to help. Alrighty. So on that Q80 integrate felt, one trick is to take the small Allen wrench and run it through that hole, and so you can actually push down on the felt and get it to adhere to it, and then you can fold over. So sometimes people try to fold over and they haven't stuck down the pieces that go in there, and what happens is it tries to wrap around weird. So it's a small trick, but it's helpful. I cannot see if there's any questions, so usually on Instagram there's lots of questions. Yeah, you can order, oh, sorry. I'll try to unblurry the camera. I'll try, it probably got the lens dirty or whatever. Yeah, you can order zebras with served in loops, and it's the way to go. You get a very high quality string. I would still say, you know, that in my store, we will only install high-end strings, so gas, ABB, because we've had so many issues with a lot of other strings. But there are some good string manufacturers out there. We just don't install all their stuff. So let's see if we can take this lens off real quick. Just clean that up. And it's an image. We ran served in loops on those zebras. I'm not saying they love to do that, but they will serve the in loops on those zebra strings for you, and it's a night and day difference. So it gives you an option, and it may not be as expensive as some other ones. So now we've got the QAD down there, and another little trick is really quickly on your 8 QAD felt. I got a whole nother video on this, but just take that lighter and do not leave it on there very long, but just hit it, and you'll notice the glue activates a little bit better. Because I've had a lot of these been sitting for a long time, even at the manufacturer. Man, they put this, there it is. Oh man. I use that little Allen wrench, y'all, and I put it somewhere. Oh, there it is in my pocket. So again, we use the sight holes on the Matthews for the timing, but do not use that to tell me that your bow's in really good time. You actually need to use the draw board for that. That's the only way to get that really accurate. Oh man. There we go. So the next step, we're gonna get some purple D-loop and just change out these cords just to make them kind of flow. So we're gonna grab that purple material. And if y'all like these videos, do me a favor. We aren't one of the people that make money on YouTube, but if you subscribe to our page, it'll tell me that y'all, hey, do more of these videos or those videos, and that helps us. Just being a small business, anything like y'all that y'all can do like that that you feel like actually helps us out. So subscribe down there. Come on, there we go. My package is done now. So. There we go. So I'm changing it out to purple so the whole bow blends together. Obviously that's a personal preference thing. Actually, we need to cut, we'll use this for the D-loop, then cut that long enough for the rest. I always like to have too much rest cord that we can trim down rather than, that's better. And there's a million ways to set up bows. Not everybody's going to do everything the same way every single time, and that's okay. Like there'll be people that get on here and say some terrible stuff on here to us about how we set this bow up. But again, do your thing, just do it right. If your bow's not performing well, maybe reevaluate your setup. All right. So we've got purple on there now, we're blending in. What we're gonna do is we're gonna drop this down. I'm gonna press it, run it through there, and then once we set the draw length to where we want it, we'll tie that off. And if I have customers come in the store, we'll stop this live video and then I'll start another one later. I'm doing this about 20 minutes before the shop opens, so. But the doors are open, so I'll stop if someone comes in. Next week, pretty sure we're going to do a live bow build with Caitlin Moss. She's coming down and we're going to build up her bow. She's shooting a Prima this year, but the cool thing is every year she gives away her old bow. And that's pretty epic. So make sure you're subscribed for that. Ugh. There we go. Those fibers were a little hard to separate. One thing too is I'm real particular on how that rest cord runs through. If it's wrapping around, you need to redo it. Just make sure it goes straight. It's going to take a little bit less tension off the cables because that'll affect your timing as well. So we're going to throw a D-loop on this. I'm going to build her up some. Hold on. We're going to run a pretty fast arrow out of her bow. We're going to try a 500 spine, which may be weak, but we're gonna run it through paper and see if that works or not. If it doesn't, we're gonna go to a 400, but I think a 500 will be just fine. A 340 will be way too stiff out of this bow. We're gonna try the 500 with a 25.5-inch draw length and just see if that works. So that's what we're building right now. We're gonna leave this rest cord long so that when we come back and change draw lengths, if we need to, when we get the first draw back on the Hooter shooter, we can make that adjustment. A lot of people run knocking points on their bows. They are fantastic if you are on a hunt and you need to change your D-loop. I personally don't, because I can usually eyeball where my D-loop was, and I usually like my knock fits better without the knock ties on them. So that's up to you. Always tie your first knot away from the person's face. So what I'm going to do now is cut that D-loop material I kind of pull it to cinch the knot down a little bit. And if I want to, I can still tie knocking points. Let's say that the knock, after we've got it tight on these lighter poundage strings, if it just gets too big, we can tie knocking points in there. That's not a big deal. Got to burn this down a little bit more. That's where we wanted it. So if you kind of just tap it with the lighter and roll it in between your fingers like this, you'll get a ball there instead of just a flat piece, and that makes a really good looking D-loop. Okay, so we're 20 minutes in. We have people starting to come in the store. I'm gonna run, we're gonna get a basic level. Like, I'm not gonna worry about the level just yet. I'm gonna kind of see where the D-loop needs to be, get a sort of a slight tension on it, and then I'll go from there on the build. So I'm gonna grab my D-loop pliers. I have a pair there, but I don't like those. We're running a Pierce. I run a lot of axis arrows. Just building this one for fun right now. I'm gonna build up a Pierce. It's gonna be a little bit smaller diameter than we have on our axis, or quite a bit. I mean, just by looking at them, but we're gonna get a level our bow out. Maybe, guys. Oh, there it is. Every once in a while, stuff in the bow shop decides to go for a cruise and disappear. This is a K-Tech level. I don't think they make them anymore, but it's one of my favorites. Every time you do this and you go check it on another level, it's dead on. So my starting point on a Matthews, a lot of you guys out there stress about like measurement on your center shot, and that's okay. Like that's perfectly fine. I don't. I'm gonna start with basically through my burger hole, completely level. And then I'm gonna cinch down my D-loop. If I'm running a regular Q80 HDX, I'm gonna be just a smidge high on the back end of my knock. And this is D-loop pliers right here. If you're using a super light bow, you may not want to use this D-loop pliers because they're going to stretch it out a little bit much, and they put a lot of tension on the string. So I'm going to sneak in here real quick, put that D-loop on, and if I have to, I can walk that D-loop just a little bit up and down to get proper knock fit. We're going to change the knock on this actual arrow. Recheck the level on the bow as we mess with that. And again, guys, this is our starting point. This is not the actual tune of the bow. Comes whenever we're shooting it and we're seeing what it's doing out of the actual hand. Still looking really good there. D-loop looks good. Now, how do I know if my knock is the right knock? We're done with our levels. So what I want to do, see how that's not coming off? We're gonna run you could change your center serving. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a knock that's a little bit bigger than this one. Let me spread this out with my teeth and I'm gonna show you. I'll just spread that out just a little bit. Let's see. Still too tight. And this is why you can start with your own brand new knock. Man, it's still tight. All right, so this is where it should be. See how the arrow comes off when you thump it, but you still hear a click? So that's the knock size that we're gonna look for and go from there. Also, in terms of your knock pinch, your arrow should be able to move, because when you're at full draw, you should be able to go to the length of the knock throat like that. So that one's good. These arrows are Pierce's. Let's see. Pierce 500. So that's as far as I'm gonna go on the build right now. We have people coming in, so I need to actually stop the build and go help them. But what we're gonna do is later I'm gonna pick this bow up back live or just shoot another video, but get it posted today. We're gonna run these arrows on it and see if we can get it to tune at her draw length, which is 25.5 inches. And we're gonna put her down to about 40 pounds to start and go from there. So it's a Matthews image. You saw part of the bow build. We'll catch the second part once we get everybody in the shop taken care of. I don't know what to do here.